Howdy, everybody. This is Leo Cloutier with Malice to It None. We're here at Winter Haven, Florida today, the home base of the Boston Red Sox for spring training. It's indeed a pleasure to have as our guest a friend of long standing, one of the outstanding hitters in Major League Baseball for many years, and now a coach of the Boston Red Sox. I'd like to welcome to our show Johnny Pesky. Welcome, Johnny.
Thank you, Leo. Gee, you got nice and tan. You been down here for a while?
Not too long, Johnny. I've only been here 2 days, but I see you've got more than a tan.
Well, I'll tell you what, Leo, we've had great weather. It's been cold the last couple of days. The mornings have by around noon or 11 o'clock, 11:30, it gets beautiful. It's just, we've had a great spring so far.
Johnny, you're tackling this coaching job here like a rookie does in his first day out in Major League Baseball. This is enthusiasm that you don't see everywhere, and I don't know, this kind of enthusiasm on your part is bound to impart to your other players here.
Well, I hope some of the enthusiasm goes to the players, Leo. That's primarily what I'm here for. I'm enjoying it. As you pointed out, I'm a rookie coach again. I haven't coached in a few years. You know, that TV and radio spoiled you, so don't get too gay now. I might have to pinch hit for you sometime, but I'm sure, Leo, the fans up your way have been supporters of the Red Sox for many, many years, and we think we got a good young ball club, and we hope it'll be an interesting one, a good ball club to watch. And really and truly, we're putting things in perspective. Everybody came to camp this year in exceptionally good shape. Bill Lee has lost 20 pounds. Reggie Cleveland has lost 20. Wise has lost a little bit. Moret didn't gain an ounce, nor did he lose an ounce. And Steve Barr looks like he is ready to pitch in the big leagues. At least we hope so. I'm going to pick a dark horse for you, Leo. Don Ossie, who's just a kid. He's only 20, but boy, where do you see him? He's got a great arm. Looks like he has an idea of how to pitch. Had a fine year last year in the middle minors. And there's no reason why he may not be able to pitch in the big leagues, but I don't know what Darryl Johnson has in mind. And I might say this too, Leo. Darryl runs a very, very good camp. He's got the squads broken up into two groups. Malzone and I have one, Popowski and Zimmer have the other one. And so far the players have responded to us. They've done all their work. And for example, today we did a lot of extra running. We took a little extra infield, and you saw at the end of the workout we were fooling around with the bunts and so forth. And Darryl Johnson wants this done. We're doing this with 3 or 4 ball players every day. And we're going to keep it up and hope it can pay some dividends for us, because, you know, the primary thing about playing a ball game, to get him out on first, you got to get into second. You take 2 shots and hit him in. And we have some power. Freddie Lynn has looked good. Jimmy Rice has looked good. And Tony Coniglio has been exceptionally good.
Right?
Yes.
That's wonderful. You know, Johnny, you mentioned about all those boys reporting the camp in such good shape. They'd lost weight. I feel a little bit slighted. I've lost 33 pounds myself. You haven't made any mention.
Well, I was just starting to say that, Leo, but I always save the best to the last, you know. But you look like you're in good shape, and I don't know whether you can play third or center field this year. Which one?
I can play.
Oh yeah, you play very well, son.
John, it must feel good to be back in uniform.
Oh yeah, this is great, Leo. I really enjoyed this. I've been like a kid the first 3 days. They needed a rope to hold me down, but I'm starting to level off a little bit. I don't want to be in the position or be one of those guys that yakking all the time. But so far the players have responded to me, and it's a great feeling. You know, it's a great feeling of satisfaction. And as you know, I don't care to manage anymore.
I know you said that.
I've said that many times, and this is the part of the game I like the best. Even if I hope Darryl Johnson will let me spend a few days down in the minor league camp when we're playing on the road, and he leaves somebody home to work out, then I can spend the afternoon over there, because this is part of the game I think I can teach a little bit. At least I hope I can, and we've had some response from the players, and even the players, a couple of the players themselves, that at least, Johnny, you've taught us something. It's a great feeling. Now, whether I have or not, and I am supposed to be the hitting instructor here, Leo, but as you know, your great pal, Ted Williams, said, or all the great hitters have said, you cannot teach hitting, but you can suggest and make corrections and this sort of thing. And all I've ever learned about hitting has been from number 9 himself, old Ted. So? Yes, sir.
You know, Johnny, you certainly carried it out very well, too, whatever you may have learned from him, because you were a 300 hitter lifetime. 317, is it?
No, I had 307 lifetime, Leo, but I tell you what, Williams knew everything there was to know about hitting. I know this is we could talk about Ted, and you'd run out of tape here. But Williams, to me, was 20 years ahead of his time. I mean, he did everything so well. I know when we went into the service, he went through the program so quickly, and I kind of laid back. I was on every sub squad, had to take extra work. But with him, why, it just seemed it was a second, it was just another nature with him. I can't say enough about him. And one thing, I think I was one of the people that tried to understand him, because we had a pretty good rapport, and we had dinner together a lot, we talked a lot, we went to the ballpark a lot, and we talked a lot of baseball. And to me, I think I learned an awful, no, I know I learned an awful lot from it. As a matter of fact, I'm quoting Ted Williams every day, and I think the kids might be getting a little bit tired of him, because, you know, the news cycle has turned, and some of the ball players are going to ask me one of these days, who was Ted Williams? I said, well, we'll get the book and find out.
As Casey Stengel would say, look it up. Johnny, being here with this ball club, here they've got a young ball club, a lot of young ball players with the Red Sox.
Yes, we do, Leo. Freddie Lynn, Miller's young, Dwight Evans has looked great. I wanted to mention him a little bit earlier. And Fisk looks very good. He's a good athlete, that kid. Boy, oh boy. Yeah. And we had catching practice here the last 5 days. Darrell Johnson had them behind the plate with all their gear on, throwing the ball to second base. And it seemed like Pud didn't want to jump in first. He always waited till his turn came. One day he was fourth, the next day he was sixth. But it just, you could see the difference, and he gets right with it. He don't take any shortcut. This is one thing I've always liked about Fisk, and I hope he continues this, because, you know, he's the leader on this ball club, and he doesn't give an inch, and this is the kind of a guy you got to have. And I know, you know, you talk about what happened last year. Well, that happened. That's gone. We can't do anything about that. But you could see this thing coming. Without a Fisk, it's a little tough going, as you know.
It certainly is. Johnny, you feel confident that his knee will respond to the treatments received, and that his mental attitude will make him forget that he has an injured knee?
The only thing I can say about him, Leo, is that if they were all like Fisk, we would have no problems. I don't anticipate any problem. Neither does he. He gets down there, and he's got all the gear on. He's bending his knee, and so far he looks, he looks fine. I don't think he's running probably as good as he can, but I think he's still a little timid about that. But he's had no effects of it. At least you look at him. You know, I saw him on the basketball court the other night, playing tennis another night, and like anybody else, he was bouncing around like a kid. And I'll tell you what, he's a big man in our ball club, and we still have a month to go, and 3 weeks from now we can even tell even more.
That's true. Johnny, do you think that the Red Sox can stand pat and keep in competition with the Yankees as the changes they've made, and also the Baltimore Orioles?
Well, Baltimore naturally have helped themselves. They are really the ball club, but you know, everybody's talking about, well, now you got to beat the Yankees too. Well, that's all well and good, but as you know, Leo, you know the game of baseball probably as well as I do, and you've been at it all your life. But I think the Yankees have some soft spots too. But sure, they improved themselves with Hunter and Bobby Bonds. But you know, we were criticized. The Red Sox were criticized. There were no trades made. But gee, when you've got an abundance of young ball players, you're not going to trade a Nevins. You're not going to trade a Miller. You're not going to trade a Rice. You're not going to trade a Fisk. Those are the first people other clubs talk to us about. And O'Connell just says, well, we can't do it. And every time you talk to another ball club, their ball player becomes sky high. So I wouldn't say the stand pat business. We'll have to see. I'm sure if O'Connell and Darrell Johnson aren't satisfied with performance in April and May, he will make a trade.
Still time.
Certainly.
Johnny, do you think that the morale of the Yankee ball club will be affected any by the fact that Jim Hunter got $3.5 million for signing a contract?
Leo, knowing Jim Hunter the way we know him, why, I'd say no. Wouldn't have that kind of, because he's basically a fine young man, and he doesn't look at it like that. Listen, he did what you would have done, or I would have done, or the guy, your neighbor, would have done. He took care of first. He got a good contract. He took care of his family. You can't blame him for that, because he's a good person. At least I found him that way. All I hoped was that the Boston Red Sox could have gotten him, and they made overtures to get him. But what he did, he just took what he thought was the best for himself and for his family, and you can't blame him for that.
Johnny, no matter what a man would get or could get, it's up to him to get it, and I don't think any ball player will ever hold it against him. More power to him if he can.
That's right. Listen, you have so many years, so many earning years. You hear so much about they're getting too much this, too. But times have changed. And this is what has been brought on by the coming generations. And you have to make the adjustment. Everything has gone up. Your rent has gone up. Your taxes have gone up. Price of automobiles have gone up. Food, even a loaf of bread. You used to get a loaf of bread for 15 cents. What is it now, 49?
49.55.
That's right.
Johnny, one more question. I just happen to think of it. It always comes up in negotiations, and one particular most of the time during the course of the year is the reserve clause. Johnny, without the reserve clause, baseball could not exist, I maintain. Not only that, but Johnny, before you sign that contract, a Major League Baseball contract, it says down below what the reserve clause is all about. It protects you, it protects the ball club, and you don't have to sign it. You can go dig a ditch if you want to. Isn't that true?
That's right.
What do you think of the reserve clause?
Well, the reserve clause has to be, Leo, you know that. In other words, you've got a piece of property, and you want to maintain it. Well, let's use a ball player for an example. Well, it's up to him if he wants to stay with that ball club, or if he wants to leave a ball club, he can go to the general manager and say, look, I don't want to play here, and we'll just go to someone else. But he says, well, I want to go to the ball club of my choice. Well, it just doesn't work that simply. And you've got to protect your interest, and it does have protection for the ball player, and it has protection for the ball club, because if it didn't, they'd run rampant. I mean, it's up to the individual what agreements they have with the general manager or the ball club, how they want to do it. Maybe they want to have an option. They're coming to that. I know football has gone into that. But I think a ball player, football player, basketball player, hockey player, what have you, baseball player, I think to me, of course, maybe because I love the Red Sox so much, Leo, that I wouldn't want to move. I'd like to spend my whole life with one ball club.
And when you sign that contract, it's what you actually do.
That's right, and I think you should be bound to it. It's, it has its ins and outs. I'm sure any great lawyer could take a contract of any sort and rip it down, and how their approach is made to the courts and so forth, and how a judge would react. But we're not going to get into that, Leo. It's a great game the way it was, and
Should be left alone.
That's right, and I hope it stays that way.
Johnny, any fellow who comes up to play the game of baseball and does not have a little bit of a little boy in him is in tough shape.
You got to have fun out here, Leo. If you don't enjoy it, you should get out. At least that's the way I feel about it.
You should enjoy it at 40 as much as you did when you first broke in.
Right.
Maybe more so.
Oh, certainly. Funny thing, Earl Combs years ago used to say, Leo, you don't learn how to play the game of baseball until you're through, and by God, I think he's right.
That's so right. Johnny, like always, it's been a pleasure talking to you here at Winter Haven today, and I want to take this occasion and wish you and the Boston Red Sox words of luck for a most successful season.
Leo, thank you very much, and say hello to everybody up your way. We had a great time at the dinner, too.
Well, we enjoyed having you. Thank you very much, Johnny. This was an interview with Coach Johnny Pesky of the Boston Red Sox, and this brings us to the end with Malice to it. And then from Winter Haven, Florida, until tomorrow at this same time, Leo, Cloutier, good day.
Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more classic sports interviews from Leo Cloutier with Malice Toward None.